didn't look up, and he said yes. And the next thing he know, he had been stabbed in the chest by this demented woman. He was rushed to Harlem Hospital. And he said it was a dark Saturday afternoon. And he said that blade had gone through, and the x-rays revealed that the tip of the blade was on the edge of his aorta, the main artery of the body. And once that's punctured, you're drowning in your own blood. That's the end of you. And so it came out in the New York Times the next morning that if he had merely sneezed, he would have died. And he said, well, about 4 days later, they allowed me, after the operation where they removed the blade from my chest, they allowed him in a wheelchair to wheel himself around in the hospital. But they also allowed him to read his mail. And he said that he had mail from all over the world, all over the states. He said he had received one from the President of the United States and the Vice President. He said, but I've forgotten what those telegrams said. And I received a visit and a letter from the governor of New York. But I've forgotten what that letter said. But there was one letter that came from a little girl, a young girl who was a student at the White Plains High School in White Plains, New York. And he said, he looked at the letter and he said, I'll never forget it. And it simply said, Dear Dr. King, I'm a 9th grade student at White Plains High School. And while it should not matter, I would like to mention that I am a white girl. I read in the paper about your misfortune, about your suffering. And I read that if you had merely sneezed, you would have died. Well, I'm simply writing to you, and I'm happy that you didn't sneeze.